Hello, good evening and welcome to round 3 of the Slip Grip GT4 Championship. This evening we are in for a single race. It is a 90-minute endurance race around Silverstone. The guys have just started qualifying and I am joined again this evening by Kyle.
Hello. Hope everyone's doing good. Should be in for a good race. Long lap, but be a good race.
Yeah, it should be good. It's rather warm. The on-track, or the track temperature, I should say, is 30 degrees. The ambient, 22. That's in game. In real life, we are pushing 30 degrees ambient, and all of the guys have already been commenting how warm it is. But yes, we'll see how they get on in the qualifying session. Only 4 sets of tyres, so some drivers electing to not burn through those in the practice session, saving them for the race. So 17 minutes left. The guys just completing their outlaps, ready to get underway. So who is the furthest round? We can see on the track map, looks like 616. The Ryan Ware car may be the first to come round. Ryan going strong in previous events. We've seen him doing really well. If you are jumping in to watch the racing live, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. If you are watching back, settle down. Hopefully the weather's cooled down by the time you're watching it back, and we'll see how the guys get on. Map on the right hand side, Ryan's done well to get himself away from the pack and a bit of clean air, whereas the guys behind, I know we've got the Chevrolet of Craig Daffron in the background and then a bit of bunching, so hopefully no one tripping over each other. Hopefully they find their own spaces and can do their own thing.
But that slipstream is going to really help in the pack as well. I mean, if the guy in front's doing a quick lap time, then I'm sure the guy behind, as long as he can keep up, will probably get a faster lap time, because the slipstream, Silverstone's a long lap, and the slipstream I find is quite strong around here.
There we go then. Ryan straight on to the top of the times, and the guys filing in behind, just taking a little longer to get their tyres in. But a really good lap for Ryan, puts him top of the timing sheet so far. Clements there showed a strong lap time in the practice session, as we see Ryan just dipping a curb. John only 0.3 off early on. There we see the Alpine of Joe Challoner sporting the number 1, although there is one reason why he's like that, Joe not winning the last championship. But nevertheless, the Alpine going well. Joe knows the track well. Andy Wellborn also in the Alpine, currently still in the pits, probably waiting for some track progression. He was also going well. Joe diving in for an early apex with the Porsche. Not too far ahead, hopefully not compromising him at all. So unlike the Formula 1 circuit, these cars running out of what are the national old pit lane. Endurance pit lane, as I believe it's now referred to as. So what would be turn 1 in the Formula 1, as you saw recently, is actually part way through the lap. So Ryan also shown an improvement on this lap. He will be round to complete that within the next 20 seconds. He's half a second up, whereas the guys behind, who are improving by 0.6, for example, by Craig, well, if Ryan locks in this next time, they won't be getting any closer. Joe wide, hanging the back out across that exit curve. So here comes Ryan, he's across the line, he extends that lead at the moment. So first driver down into the 10s. Craig comes through, he's not far behind, there he is in the large American vehicle. 0.4 behind. John Clements crosses the line, unable to improve on that last one. That was a 2:13. Number of drivers pulling over, not doing the full in lap, just teleporting back to pits. Changing the setup, a few tweaks here and there, Kyle, and then they'll go again.
Yeah, dropping the fuel, new tyres maybe. I mean, they are. I mean, I don't know if they will change their tyres because they've only got the 4 tyres, but definitely I think maybe another tyre set used to try and improve that lap, but I don't think they'll change until later on in the session. They're probably maybe unhappy with the car, doing some suspension tweaks or something like that. I reckon maybe some aero, try and help them down the straights, but try and get anywhere near Ryan's time, because that Ryan at the minute is 4/10 clear of anybody.
I am a little concerned that Andrew Wellborn is still in the pits with heading down to we're on 12 minutes left to go. You'd have thought you would have seen him running by now, so we'll keep an eye. Unless he's doing some kind of back to front challenge.
Not too many people improving their laps.
Yeah, Nat's currently 0.3 up, just watching him on screen now, as long as he can keep it in his track limits. So that will take him into contention with Ryan. Counter steering there from the Porsche driver. Midway out on the road, dab of the brakes to get the nose in. Accelerating onto that centre straight.
Doesn't look completely happy with that Porsche he is.
Yeah, he lost some time through the slow section. So he's now no longer up on his delta. A big chunk of inside curb. Borderline, he's aborted that lap. So a wide sweep round then to get a run to start the following lap. Hashtag Badger Squad, says Chris Rock in the chat. Welcome in, Chris. Nice to see you in the chat again. Thanks for joining us. 10.5 minutes to go. Wellborn still in the pit. We've got Clements and Challoner close again. They were close in practice, but no one quite on pace with Ryan so far. Ryan's already showing signs of improving yet again.
We will see what Andrew can do as soon as he does a lap, but I don't know, maybe he's doing a last to first challenge, but we'll see. He did well last week in the around Nürburgring in the very cold track that was. Very commanding win for him.
Drivers not with a chance to regroup this week. It is that single 90-minute race. Hour and a half for us chatting through what they're doing. We should hopefully have some good battles. We'll see where everyone ends up. Some movers and shakers, if you will.
Let's have a look at the championship standings. It's Andrew, Ryan, Craig, Andrew in first with a 9-point advantage, followed by Andrew on 174 points, Ryan on 165, and Craig on 162. So top 3 is very close.
Yep, so Andrew is now out on track, so we will be seeing a time from Andrew Wellborn. Alex Osborne a little out of position as we see Nat backing off slightly again. He lost some time through that centre section. He's now 0.2 down on his delta, so potentially had the best out of those tyres. Getting a little warm. Ryan Ware back to the pits. Probably doesn't need to do too much more.
Ashley is improving on this lap. 0.5 up.
Ashley is indeed improving, so we'll just watch Craig for a moment. Ash is yeah, that could take Ash to second. So we will keep an eye on Craig. We'll watch him across the line. As he shifts up another gear, heading down the back straight. McLaren ahead. Probably a little far back for some slipstream, but we'll see how he gets on. Like you say though, Ash Copeland, 0.8 up at the moment. Could be a real improvement there. Track's still showing optimum and 30, but it will have progressed somewhat as the cars are running round. Matt Johnston jumps up to 4th in the AMG. Almost challenging Craig. Craig across the line. 0.095 off of Ryan, so he's closed that gap right down, and he'll be keen to carry on. Ryan is back out of the pits. We were just going to check in with Ash Copeland. Here he is in the Positive Perception Racing Porsche. The number 5 on the door. 0.6 improvement currently, so potentially third, definitely third. There he is, jumps ahead of Nat. Here comes John Clements. Heading down towards Luffield. He's currently a second improvement, so this is potentially for that pole position. We saw him strong earlier on, and we know the Aston Martin's doing well from Ryan. Here we go, as long as he's not bust any track limits anywhere, this could be a new pole position driver for you. It is indeed by 0.093, so John jumps his way ahead of Ryan. Also got improvement shown for Craig and Nat. Matt Johnston not currently improving. Andrew Wellborn heading round. There he is in his AWM SimSport Alpine, sporting the Brewdog livery on the roof. I think that is a colour scheme from the Hazy Jane beverage. Slip Grip Simracing on the number plate area. Heads out the final turn. His delta is 2.3 up, but I don't know what that's 2.3 up on. So Andrew Wellborn to set his first time of the evening with only 5 minutes left to go, chasing Ryan round. And he knocks Ryan out of second, so instantly 0.075 off. So he's hoping that Ryan continues to lap and continues to lap well. And he'll try and get that final step forward on the podium. We've also got John improving as well. With such a long outlap, these guys will be wanting to get on to their final runs. It's tight in the midfield. Stephen Poe and Sam Aldridge on identical times there. So, and Josh Copeland only 0.1, exactly 0.1 ahead. Also within contention. He only needs 0.2 to jump forward several places, which is more than feasible. Who's doing okay? Joe Challoner, currently 0.3 up as he heads down the back straight in the Alpine. A little wander to the middle of the road. Why take the shortest route when you can wander across the track? Out onto the rumble strips, gets the nose in. Good chunk of the inside curve, just running the wheels through there. A narrow entry, moves away from the apex, comes back for a second apex. There it is, onto the power. Makes use of the exit curve, but not too much to unsettle the car. Currently a 0.5 improvement, so may just close the gap to Johnston. Does indeed so. Moves that gap from pros to silvers. The gap's working quite well. The drivers seated where they should be. Alex Osborne not quite on the pace. Last lap was a 5 minutes, so he's been and made some changes. There is Alex McGee, currently showing a 0.1 improvement, so heads towards Josh. Does indeed, but the Domino's car not quite able to get the silver lead at this stage. Josh currently down on his time. Ryan Ware, sorry, we've missed it. Wellborn's gone fastest. Ryan's jumped up past John. Ah, he only did it 20 seconds ago. So, sorry Andrew. We said about chasing Ryan round when it worked. Ryan improved and now Andrew is almost on his tail.
I've got some game issues, so
Okay.
what's going on?
Ryan's car looking quite high there. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Alright, got it fixed.
Good. Welcome back in. So
Yeah,
both
sorry.
Andrew Wellborn and Ryan Ware looking to improve. The deltas are similar as they head past the international pit lane. I believe that's what that's called. If not, it is now. They keep moving in green and back out of the deltas. So Ryan was up, he's now 0.2 up, but Andrew, that 0.4 ahead, that's a big old chunk. Andrew is nearly improving. Ryan now 0.3 up. That would definitely be giving a toe to Andrew now, and I'd almost bet that it was last lap as well. Not quite. Oh, he's late getting the nose in, giving him more of a mid-line through into the right-hander of Luffield. Still showing 0.3 up. It's going to be really close. Just needs good drive out. Drops to 0.2, so potentially not on this lap. Andrew goes again. The timer ticks down. 1:25 left. So Ryan closes the gap. He needs the same improvement again. Andrew Wellborn bails. Ryan continues. Ryan's off. So that is now not enough time to get round and start another fly. So Wellborn to the pits. Ryan to the pits. Sorry, car.
No, I don't think. I think Andrew may have got a off track there. I don't think his time got set, unfortunately.
Andrew's last was a 10.3. He'd already done a 10.1. So
Yeah.
he's gone back out though. He's gone for another look. Top 4 all in. So it will take Johnston as well. So Ash Copeland not currently improving. No, he does a 2:11, so that'll be Ash Copeland done, unless he sends it on the next one. He's already he's 5 seconds down his delta, so he's bailed. He's that yellow dot. There he is. Nat Shirley will be one of the final cars. Joe Challoner is 6 seconds up, so Joe's not actually done the circuit.
I don't think that's showing correctly.
Yeah, I think he's been on the grass. We've still got Alex Osborne still going round. He's showing an improvement. He'll be looking to close the gap to Challoner, bring that that down. But he has closed up enough to bring it, so the pros are all together. So that shows us that our groupings are working quite well. Chris Monroe very close to Harrison. But they are currently showing in their classification order. Josh Copeland doing well back off the boat.
It's also quite a big improvement to get into the pro field as well.
0.2 at this stage. It's the large gaps Challoner to Osborne.
Yeah.
At 0.6, but that might come down. I think he's showing 0.1 improvement.
Yeah.
But how does this all translate to race pace? It is an endurance race. They've got to get their pit stops correct, because there is one mandatory pit stop on this one as well. And no doubt there'll be some argy-bargy in the first lap.
Well. Looks like Alex won't improve this lap.
No, it's going to be very close. If he does, slight improvement. It is a very slight improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. That's what we look for, that continuous progression. I know there's a few more cars just to come through. Mark Senyo down the back, not improving. Ash Wooten also not improving. Nat Shirley, not quite improving, 0.04 off an improvement. So we just watched Josh Copeland come round. This is going to be borderline improvement. He's currently on a 2:11.9. He's now a 2:11.9, but it was a slight improvement, so well worth doing. Really good drive there by Josh, eking everything out of the Ginetta. So the drivers now have 3.5 minutes to get their setup sorted, be ready for the race. The track's cooled down a single degree. It'll be 1-to-1 time progression, so the hour and a half will take us through to 4:30 in-game time. Let's just catch a word with Andy Wellborn, leaving it quite late to come out the pits, but not letting that hold you back, Andy.
No, yeah, don't ask me where that lap came from. I've not been anywhere near that in the practice laps. I've been like a 2:10.8, I think. So I don't know where that time came from, but I had a good guide with Ryan in front of me, so someone to chase, and yeah, I'm well happy with that lap actually. So I waited in the pits because I'd used a set of the tyres in practice with the full fuel, and I tried to do a banker lap and I got it wrong on the exit. So I was like, I'm going to wait till the track. Hopefully, I'm one of the last cars through towards the end, so that the track's at its peak, and then yeah, kind of worked out. So can't complain.
Did indeed, and now you've just got to translate it into the long session. Comfortable with the hour and a half and the pit stop strategy?
I think so. We've got the pit window, which I think starts at the halfway point. I think there's about a 15-minute window or so. So yeah, I've got my strategy around that. Obviously, it's only mandatory fuel. I would say most will probably tech tyres, because obviously Silverstone hammers the front left tyres. Well, the left-hand side, but especially the front. So yeah, I think it'll just see how it goes. I'm probably a little bit worried about Craig being in third place in that Camaro, because we know how bloody quick that is on the straights.
Yeah, he's up in fourth. You've got two of the Aston Martins directly behind you.
Okay, I might be okay. I think in the slipstream they are a little bit quicker, but not too much over this Alpine. It's just more, can Craig get a double bubble slipstream on the early laps and potentially get himself through? But it was, well, I think before sort of those last couple of laps, the times were ridiculous in that quali. They were so close. So I think once everyone's on race pace, I can't imagine there's going to be a huge difference between people, but we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Right, 38 seconds left on your timer. Hopefully you've got everything on order. A long out lap, hopefully you get the car where you need it and can sustain that early pressure. Nice one, Andy.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
Good luck.
Speak to you soon. Ta-da.
Ta-da. He's not very northern, is he? I think Kyle will just speak briefly with Matt Johnston, starting 7th. Always one to make some early moves. Let's see what his plan of attack is. Matt going from 7th today on the grid. Some early positions to be made up.
We'll see what happens, really. Yeah, I don't know. It must be the AMG. I just haven't got much pace. I went a bit quicker in practice, but I don't know. Just struggling a little bit, it seems.
And how about on the longer runs? Have you done much practice to see how the car settles in?
No.
Great, good to hear.
We've only done qualifying runs at the minute, with a maximum fuel of 20 litres. So we'll see what happens.
Good stuff. Cheers, Matt. Good luck in the race. We'll hopefully speak to you later.
Fingers crossed.
And then one final one as we watch the cars head round. Josh Copeland leading the Silvers, if he's about. Josh at the top of the Silvers, how are we feeling?
Yeah, you're trying to put me off on the formation lap now, aren't you?
No, I'm just watching you go round, mate.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Threw away a couple of tenths here and there, but I think it was half a tenth between me and Alex at the end, so
yeah, really close. Really close breaking into the pro lap times there. Alex slightly off the pace. Contrary to Matt, have you done any long running in the car? Do you know where you stand with it or not?
Not really. I was doing in practice 213s with race fuel.
So it sounds like more practice than Matt's done, so should put you in a good place. You can firmly eyes forward from the start.
Hopefully. I mean, I'm just going to be waiting for the carnage, to be honest. We do have Mr. Challoner in front of me.
Let's, oh, there he is. Let's hope there's not too much carnage. Alright, we'll let you get your eye in and yeah, get the car where you need it to be. Good luck, Josh.
Thank you very much. Have a good stream.
Thank you. Then, who did we have leading the AMS? It was Chris Monroe. Carl, let's just keep disrupting them.
Oh, yeah, it's a long formation that they got. What else are they got to do?
That's it. Chris, you must be bored driving around such a long warm-up lap. Leading the AMS, looking to go forward and get past Harrison?
Oh, hoping to. If I didn't mess up my last quali lap, I would have been ahead of him. So hopefully we can get something in the race.
And contrary to some of the drivers ahead of you, much practice in the long runs for these cars, or not so much?
None at all.
For goodness sake, one day we'll find someone that has done some practice.
You would hope so.
So the pit stop window halfway through, do you think you'll bail early, or...?
Well, I fueled long because I forgot about pit window, so we'll see how I'm going, I think.
Right, okay, it's quite heavy on the fuel, the old Yotus Camaro.
Yeah. Yes, it's thirsty.
It's thirsty. We'll leave it at that because you are heading around towards the end of your lap, so we'll let you get back on it, Chris.
Alright, cheers.
Nice, don't
See you
go
later.
for the race. Right, let's leave him alone. I keep forgetting to change the camera to who we're speaking to, but we'll get there. We're not the most professional. We're doing our best.
I was doing it, but no one was watching.
Ah. Yeah, we'll let you drive next week. Craig just doing not Craig, Chris. Craig's the other Camaro. Craig is that Camaro, the Daft Speed Camaro. Right then, let's get the helicam sorted. Sorry, Carl, I've been on a bit of a monologue of interviews.
Absolutely fine.
Right. Thanks for subscribing, Mark. We see you in the chat. You're welcome there. Let's get the race underway. So we will focus the camera on Craig in the Camaro. Hopefully we see if there's any shenanigans in the first turn. A very fast right-hander. You'll get Andy and Ryan fairly squared down the front. A couple of staggered positions further back. I believe it's quite a late call, but we'll see where we sit.
Green light, green light.
There we go, then they're away. It's a good start from Andy. A little delayed in the Aston Martin. The position perception pause further back. Also a little delayed. Craig going early on Clements to try and get the inside line for Maggotts Beckett's. He's got it. Andrew trying to hold on. He leaves room down the inside, flows through and carries a little more speed. The Camaro of Craig tries to get involved too. It's now going to be the long way round as they head onto that back straight. Another Porsche with the yellow nose further back, coming under attack from Josh Copeland here. Oh no, it's the Domino's car of Alex Osborne. There we go then, they filter through the timings update. We'll just let those settle down. Matty J on Ash Copeland. Looks like a move as well. It's settled down just there. So Matty J does get ahead of Ash Copeland in the early stages. A dive from some of the Porsches. Craig looks like he's come from a long way back as well. This is allowing Andrew to pull away. Ryan taking a very defensive line. Craig tries to filter back on. He just gets the nose cleared. Johnston tries to make it 3 wide further back. No such luck. Clements closing in on the Camaro. Nat Shirley also under attack now, having to take a defensive line. Johnston there. Joe Challoner slides down the inside further back. Let's put him on the outside. There he is. Can he go the long way round? He does unwind the steering, so he's round the outside of Ash Copeland's Porsche. There he goes. It's now Matt Johnston down the inside of Nat Shirley as we head down the national back straight. Defensive from Shirley, covers the inside. Johnston will look to go the long way round, closes right in on the door, has to back out of that one into the rear bumper of Nat. Nat keeping it dialed in. That again puts Matt the long way round. He can get on the power earlier. Can he unwind the steering? He does, so he clears Nat Shirley around the outside of Luffield. And Joe Challoner wants a bit of that action as well. Half covered by Nat, now covering the inside line as they break. The first lap complete. On drive to the inside, there's a car that looks to be coming out the pits. I think that's Mark Samuel. 2x2 further back. Alex McGee has to slot in behind. Josh Copeland coming through on Stephen Poll. As they head through Maggots and Beckett's, it's now going to be back straight again. Heavy on the brakes for Josh to try and get the nose in. That slows them up, and Ross Parker doesn't need a second invitation. He's there and attacking the Ginetta. He's going to have to go the long way round. Go on, Kyle.
Silver's just been watching them at the start of the race, all argy-bargy. Sam really made some positions at the start, but that was really falling back due to contact with everyone. And the mid-pack just seems like an absolute chaos going through wide at any opportunity they can. But Ross Parker, a real benefit from that. 2-3 positions in one lap.
Just dropping back down behind Stephen Poll there, I believe. Oh yeah, and he's dropped back behind Josh, so going up to, but then going down to, I believe we've also got, this is Harrison in the AMG, now onto the back of Ross, going slightly deep, that puts him under pressure from Walker and Baldridge. Monroe, a little gap back now, he's got Tom Lyons in a Ginetta trying to get past him, so little bunches and battles breaking off, but back down the front. Andrew Wellborn with a comfortable lead at the moment over Ryan. I say comfortable, it's 0.8 and we've still got an hour and 25 minutes to go. Then, as we said, you've got Ryan slowly breaking away from Craig. It's Craig now under pressure from John Clements. John down one position, these two reverse, but now appears to have the greater pace over Craig. Let's see if he can attack. Craig goes in slightly narrow, a later turn in there for John. Gives him a good run in that Aston Martin. Let's just jump aboard, see if he can. No, car. There's John. Up behind the Camaro. The Camaro unsettles across the curbs on the brakes, gets the nose in, but taking a good amount of curb. Checking the mirror at the top, nothing really close at the moment. That's Matty J holding off Nat Shirley after those early battles. Johnson up from 7th to 5th.
Down to the inside, which he has a small look, but doesn't really go for that move. Tries to wait for the exit round. I can't remember that corner name, but Craig getting all sorts of out of shape. That lets John go down to the inside. Not really going to make that move stick, but he's going to get this cutback, which he does.
What's the line there? And it's Hamilton passed down the inside or something like that. The cutback working there.
And through goes Hamilton.
And through goes Hamilton. That was it. In the background, the Positive Perception Porsche of Ash Copeland holding off the Porsche of Alex Osborne. A little bit of damage on the back of that Porsche. You saw that last week as well, Ash, in the walls at the Nürburgring. Gap ahead from Craig in 3rd down to Ash Copeland in 8th, all grouped together. If you take a look.
0.2. Ryan's looking for a move.
There we go.
Around the outside. Might have him under the brakes. No, not a chance there. Maybe look for the inside and try and get the exit. But that Aston Martin looking really good at this stage of the race. Looks like Ryan's got the race pace over out Wellborn. Looks like his in qualifying Ryan just sort of towed him along. But Ryan definitely looks like he's got the measure at this point.
Yeah, it was that dive to the outside. It looked like the car got into the ABS and just pushed on slightly. So the front end not quite where Ryan needed it to be, but fastest lap is Ryan by almost a second, 0.9 greater than Andrew, so able to close in that gap and break away from John, who is currently sat 2.1 back in third. Change of direction there for Andrew. The run onto the back straight. How can Ryan do trying to close this gap? You see the rest of the field streaming through Maggots and Beckett's. They're all together.
Is that a flash of the lights?
Could well have been,
Right.
just to let him know he's there. So the back two of the pros just dropping 2.8 off the back of that front group. Alex McGee being towed round, heading up the Silvers, breaking away from Stephen Park at the moment, but the pressure is on down the front. We're 8 minutes in and it's looking like it's going to be a full-on hour. It will be an endurance race for these guys. The guys will be warm, they will be tired. Sim racing is rather physical. Aggressive change of direction there for Andrew. Ryan just positioned his car to the inside. Andrew runs deep, a much smoother line for Ryan. Settles the car, ready to get the run onto the back straight. The Alpine eager out the corner, the lighter of the two. Can Ryan make use of the toe? We saw him try the long way round. Does Andrew feel the need to defend on this lap? He doesn't. Ryan looks to the inside, but not a move to be made on this lap. You see the car pushing on there, Kyle. It looks like it's unhappy.
No, definitely it doesn't look like where Ryan's getting the grip where he really needs it to be. That's really hindering his overtaking opportunities. Looks like Andrew's very much more comfortable all mid through the corner, which is really going to help him with the defence. Fighting back Ryan, it looks like this battle's gonna continue for a good few more laps. But this is also letting John catch up, not much, but a little bit. So Ryan really needs to get this overtake done quite quickly if he doesn't want any pressure from the rear.
I believe John and Craig have reversed their positions, so where Craig early on managed to get past John, it's now back, so John is able to break free and go chasing. Gap maintained at this stage. Ryan puts the nose in early, probably indicative of that understeer. Good run down to the chicane. Andrew definitely covering the inside quite robustly. Still gets in for that apex. Not too good about the right-hander, but Ryan absolutely on the nose. Neither of them taking too much. Andrew very wide. He's really pushing on, having to get onto the throttle early. Any need to cover the inside? No need. No silly move from Ryan there. Not really an overtaking place unless you've got a huge overspeed and a big overlap heading into the turn. Now the slower section. Get the nose in for the right-hander. Leave it for a late turn in there. Maintain the pace through. Get the direction changed. Ryan not taking a cutback. Andrew leaving him room, hoping to get on the power early, but the Aston Martin really, really good power. And there he goes through on the inside. Andrew leaves plenty of room, trying to maintain that momentum. And may well come straight back down at him, heading into Brooklands. I think it's Brooklands, I'm not sure. So we're very aware that John is closing in that gap to the rest of the pack. Eroded as we head to complete lap 4.
Yeah, I've done a tour around this track, so I should know the names of know the names of these corners, but I don't. I'm awful with names.
We go through the first turn. I might Google a track map. There's a little quiet in the chat this evening. If you are joining us, do let us know you're there. I know we've seen Mark and Chris already, but if you are in there, if there's a Paul Hayho or anyone else, do let us know you're there. It's good to see the comments going on. And we also like the thumbs up. It helps us appear on people's home pages. Lets people know that we are racing. I believe that was Matt Johnston coming under pressure. It was. So Matt Johnston has got Nat Shirley for company now. Let's hop to the second camera set. There we go, down Is it Stowe? It might be Stowe. Nat lurching forward there, coming off the brakes mid-turn. Matt defensive, the Porsche braking in a similar place, but Matt with the narrower line, so better flow there for Nat. Comes through, can they keep it pinned through this right-hander, punishing the left front, trying to keep it within track limits. Nat a little bit more wild off the turn. Fast flowing corners, but then that's countered only 2 corners later by a slower section. The car stopped, keep it mid on exit, ready to get the switch back to the left-hander. Nice late apex for Nat. Comparable acceleration away from both of them. Andrew's dropped back. Andrew is a second off the back of Ryan. Just watch Matt defending. Nat switches back, desperate for that inside. That's going to slow them both up. They're going to drop them back away from Craig. Andrew now under pressure from the second of the Aston Martins. Both of these guys 0.6 down on their best lap. There's some battles going on further back. That is Stephen Pole coming under pressure from Ross Parker. So Stephen's fallen back past Josh, and it's now Ross looking to the outside. Stephen 2.2 down. Not sure where that's happened. Can Ross make it all the way around the outside? He's going to have to be keen. They touch in the braking zone. Not sure who came over on who there. Let's just go back 10 seconds. We'll go chase cam. Did Stephen wander to the left? It was slight if it was. That'll be one for the stewards. Luckily, I think Ross has continued on. He's made use of that runoff area. Now under pressure from John Walker though, so he's dropped back nearly 3 seconds. Has given Josh something to think about. John something to think about in the form of Sam. So there's battles up and down the grid. I think it's Stowe, I really need to Google it. A narrow line for John, that's let Sam down the inside, so the Badger getting down the inside. I don't know if his nickname is the Badger, but they keep calling Badger Squad in the chat. So the Badger through on Walker. Am I going to get in trouble for that?
No, it's fine. It's a joke. Badgers with Sam.
But we shouldn't call him the Badger, no?
No.
Okay.
Just apparently he likes badgers.
I think we should call him the Badger. That will get me in trouble. Right. So Harrison leads the group in 17th, 18th and 19th. So you've got Harrison and Tom Lyon. No, that's not. It's Dave Rose. There's Dave Rose. Dave Rose says, "No thank you Harrison, get out of my way." An hour and 14 left. Some damage on these cars. It's Tom, in fact, that's dropped off the back of the pack. 4.6 down within this lap. So this group, 2 Astons, 2 Mercedes.
You could have said it 3 wide. He is. Not really.
So Harrison's the car in the middle, 42. Who's showing currently last is Mark Samuel. But he's just got past Harrison, so I think Mark's gone from 21st to 18th in... Oh no, he's 2 laps down, sorry.
He started from the pits
yeah, he started from the
earlier in the
pits.
race.
However, he's making his way forward. So Harrison now 17th, Dave Rose 18th, Ash Wootton in the Mars car in 19th, and then Tom slightly further back in that Ginetta. It's getting spicy. Andrew Wellborn has got John Clements all over his rear bumper as they head down into Village?
No.
Not Village.
No, Village is the slow bit after this.
Ah,
After
that's that bit. This was...
Yeah.
What's this one? I'm going to get a track map.
I'm going to get a track map. Might be Village. Bale. You're thinking of Bale.
Vale. I got the right letter.
Yep.
Those sausage curves at Vale that we saw causing chaos in the Formula 2s, was it, or Formula 3s? Using them
Formula
as a ramp.
3s and Formula 2s, yeah, and causing problems at Monza as well, with that nasty GT3 incident.
It's got to be soon they abolish them and just start penalising track limits. Or do what Gran Turismo does and make your car go slower as you go across it, make it like really sticky.
I don't know if you know what Alton Park does, but they have a sensor on one of the curbs. So if they sense a car going over that.
I do. They changed the outside of the first turn from that like plastic grid that's really slippy in the wet. They changed it to concrete.
Yeah.
That's because I crashed there. I over-rotated on the track day. No other reason. You know, it's not because it was dangerous for bikes. As we see John slide in the Aston Martin through. No, it's purely because I went and span off on it on a track day and nearly put E36 compact in the wall. Well, that's a heavy defend from Wellborn.
That is a worry.
Looking for a cutback as Wellborn moves to the left, but he didn't. So John with a much higher speed through there. Andrew dropping off his delta, firmly defending. He's waiting for Craig to get involved. He needs Craig to fight John. Otherwise, that Aston Martin is looking slightly stronger. John having to get out of the throttle. The door's going to close, not able to get alongside, as we saw Ross doing earlier on. Craig pushing to get in contention. Higher apex speed potentially there for Andrew. Does he feel the need to defend heavily into Village? No, he's just offsets the car, so it's a half defence. Can change the direction in that little Alpine, so it's probably more comfortable through that section.
Andrew's really defending for his life. I mean, that defensive move quite aggressively down the Wellington Straight, but fair, I think. But no, he's really placing the car well. As John getting real slidey through that section just there. But if he goes sideways again, no, not really. But that's really going to hinder his rear tyres towards the end of the race if he keeps sliding like that. And maybe he's got a strategy where he's going to lean on the tyres hard, change it in the pit stops, but we'll see. But if he's going to go to the end on these tyres, then he's really got to start saving.
Wide for Andrew through Cops, not quite carrying the same amount of speed as they head down into tried too hard. Maggots and Beckett's.
One of the best sections in motorsport.
Challoner's getting close on Shirley. We'll just keep an eye. Johnston no longer under the same pressure that he was. You see him just behind, quite spread out. We might just stick with this battle here. The pros really starting to break away now. McGee going along for the ride, but Copeland, although Copeland and Pole were 0.04 off, so we'll just check in. Copeland is still holding off Stephen Pole on that time of asking. Can the Porsche do anything down into the braking zone? Still a fast corner down at Stowe. Guys down the front currently a second or two faster. Wide sweep in for Josh. He's using every inch of the circuit, trying not to be too hard on the tyres, but then not running the car out too wide. Stephen very wide through the left-hander. Ross also close on the back of Sam, so we'll see how these battles get on. Sam actually getting past Ross earlier on. He'd already moved past John. Just keep an eye. Go. There's races everywhere. Dave Rose and Ash Wotton squabbling over 7th place. Dave round the outside early on the power, but not able to get the power down. Good drive from Ash there, maintaining the position ahead of Dave as they head down the Wellington Straight. Now the battle for second, allowing Craig to come into contention on that last lap. Andrew did a 12.5, John a 12.1 to close back in, and then taking Craig with him another 12.1. 0.005 between John and Craig on that last lap. So Andrew feeling the pressure in the little Alpine. There we go then, we saw it in the distance, Andrew defending. John closing right up, using every inch of the circuit. Elects for the outside line, tries to brake slightly later. Andrew will have a more optimal line through the centre. Now here he needs to switch back onto the power, but Andrew's got a good drive out, just not quite intention to tuck under there. The Alpine really good on the change of direction, just not with the drive out of the corners and down the straight. Aston Martin a little more gathered up. We saw Craig quite heavily on the brakes there, backing out of that one quite early. Some fights further back. I know Johnston's got Shirley right with him. John now attacking Andrew. Tiny movements on the steering wheel before committing to that full turn in. Here him on the nose, trying to get on the brakes, trying to get the nose in. Just further back, it looks like Nat Shirley, yeah, face full of Matt Johnston. Porsche versus Mercedes.
The two behind are fighting as well, Josh and Stephen. Real bumper to bumper all the way down the back straight, coming onto the last corner. No, they're really, Josh really defending through the straight, just covering that inside, not letting Stephen get any chance to get an overtake.
So we've got Dave Rose trying to go past Ashwood again. Harrison Fulton of the Silvers still in strife, down in 19.
David's front end looks really carrying quite a lot of damage, it looks like, at the front of his car.
You can hear how off throttle he is, trying to get the nose in, letting it rotate before getting back on the power. Wide sweep into Maggots, forces Ash narrow. Ash able to carry more speed through. Some interesting rotation on Dave's car. Here the tyres fighting it. We're still got over an hour left of this race. The drivers will now be getting rather warm. Meanwhile, Andrew Wellborn still under attack down at the front. Left the door open there for John. Big chunk of curb, that's going to unsettle the car, so he's got really good manoeuvrability. Probably a little more turning than he thought. John with a good run onto the straight. This is going to be heavy for Andrew. It's the inside mostly covered. I saw Matt in the background trying to cover the inside as well. So no move there. Matt covering the inside. That's going to be a long way around for Nat. Not quite able to do it. You hear the Porsche get on the power, but it pushes on quite to the inside, and that's Challoner soon going to be in contention, trying to get that place off of Nat and have a go at attacking Matt for himself. Really backing these guys off. Matt now 5 seconds back from Craig, the guys down the front. We've not really mentioned Ryan either. He's now 0.3 of a second a lap quicker than Andrew and John behind. You see them in the distance going over the hill. These battles continuing everywhere. Nat takes to the grass. He's had to bail. He's gone through. He's on the brakes. drops back in behind Matt to not get a run through there. Hopefully that's not giving him a penalty. We'll see how it goes.
Looks like he backed off, so no penalty.
Backed off there, he is okay. John will be getting rather bored of the back of Andrew's car, but Andrew, rightly so, holding that second position. This is the fight for a podium. Second place on the podium. Craig could well be there to get involved.
Andrew's doing really well defending. Only placing the car where he needs to be. Ultimately still having the pace. But one mistake, Craig's going to be all over the back of both of them. Ryan's really stretching his legs up front. Last lap, 3 tenths quicker than anybody else on track, really. Looks like in qualifying, Andrew really big oversteer moment for John. It's not going to help your chance. It's not going to help your chances at overtaking Andrew.
No, they'll stay hot for a while, and if he's going to try and not change them in the pits, then he can't afford to do that too many times.
No. What do you do for strategy? I mean,
I don't know how long the GT4 tyres are meant to last,
no.
but I know it's nigh on 30 seconds to change them, whereas without you can do a splash and dash. So you'll see this really start to change after the pit stops. Slide, letting Andrew have a moment to catch his breath. Meanwhile,
How long
back.
Do you know how long a full tank on the GT4s are?
That's also true. I don't know how long that will be. So that's Nat Shirley's car looking back towards Joe Challoner. We've seen how good the Alpine is through the tight and twisty stuff with Andrew at the wheel. Joe trying to replicate that. We've got John all over the back of Andrew again, further forwards. Doesn't look like Joe's closing in at this stage. He's just dropped back slightly through that chicane section there. Big chunks of the inside curb for everyone there. So we'll jump onto Andrew's car. It's actually Matt that's having to defend from Nat. Here we are. So it's when Matt has to get defensive, Nat really on the power early there. It's as Matt gets defensive, it's when Joe can come up to attack. A flash of the lights there from Nat. Matt knows there. Johnston, middle of the road, getting it parked, getting it turned in. Nat with a slightly wide line, dipping into an apex, giving him a tighter exit. Puts Matt narrow through this right-hander. The Porsche closing up. How can they get on the power? They're on the power comparable, so that's Nat going right up under the spoiler of the Mercedes.
Matt had to put a bit of brake on mid-apex, try and get the rear of the car to turn in a
That's from
little
a
bit.
long way back
A
for
lot
Nat.
of bit of contact.
Gets the Porsche down the inside. That's a very fast corner to be doing that. We jump on Helicam. They're now... Oh, Joe is compromising that. Yeah, Joe electing to not go down the inside. Nat having to be late on the brakes to stay on the back of Matt. So through the Beckett section of the corner, another rubber to bumper as Matt gets out of the power to get the nose in. Puts Nat wide. Joe has a sniff. So down the back straight, Matt elected to give the toe to Joe. That keeps Nat narrow on the way in. Can Joe go all the way round the outside of Shirley? The positive perception Porsche closes in. Nat pushes on. Hesitant. That gives Matt another bit of breathing room, but Ash Copeland looks to the inside now. Nat defending. Joe's going the long way round. He'll do well to get the long way round of Nat just there, especially in the Porsche, able to rotate. So Matt's got a bit of breathing room. Joe now looking to challenge the Porsche ahead, closes in, he's had a good run out of there. Nice fast corner now, what can we do? Here's Joe Challoner, a huge amount of inside curb, keeps it narrow. Nice smooth transition to the left, he'll be looking for a wide sweep in to the right-hander. There it is. Good speed carried, if anything too much it pushes on. The camera's not sure if Joe's defending or attacking, they are that close. We've been going for more than half an hour now, 33 minutes gone. And we've still got these battles up and down the field. You see 0.0 something going on somewhere. 0.4s, 0.6s, 0.7, 0.3. Plenty of battles raging on as we head down through Beckett's. Field we go. It's all settled down for a moment, but don't blink. They're all 2 seconds down on their deltas. The cars ahead are matching theirs. Further forward, just settle down for a moment. They're 0.6 apiece apart.
Quite interesting to see different lines taken through the last corner as well, coming onto the straight. Ash looks like he's taking a slightly wider line coming in for a later apex to get a line, a good drive coming onto the start finish line, but doesn't really amount to anything.
Matty J under pressure again. Nat Shirley looking to go the long way round Stowe. He's got that nose alongside, he runs out wide. That might be track limits, but he's kept his foot in it and made the move stick. Be one for the stewards if it does stick. Matt tries to keep that inside line for the next corner, doesn't get it. And through goes Challoner, almost, nearly. He's got involved. He's going to push Matt wide. There he does, little bump on the door. So Challoner getting involved as well. He loses one, he's potentially going to lose two. Nat making use of that off track though, so I'm not sure where that will stand with the stewards. Let's see. Darts to the outside. Joe slightly deeper. Matt going to hold it to the right, but he's going to invite Ash in if he's not careful. Ash looking for an even larger cutback. Johnston on the power, not quite able to go after the Alpine, but that's Shirley away and gone. 0.7 to the good over Joe as they head onto the Wellington straight. Matt's going to come under pressure from the positive perception Porsche. That's Ash going to look to the inside. He doesn't, so Ash will brake late to try and go around the outside of Matt. There he is. Can Ash feed it all the way around? He's got the line, but not quite the speed to do it. Very opportunistic driving by Joe to get through. And don't write off Alex Osborne. He is not far away given the battles that we've had. Nat is, however, starting to break free. We'll see how he does leading in clean air. Big chunks of curb from everyone there. So let's see what the run is onto the back straight this time.
Matt really got bullied out of the way through Vale, unfortunately, but again, one for the stewards to review.
Matt having to take the tow, just no one defending on this lap. Nat trying to make the breakaway, this gaggle of 5 cars, all in a group of their own at the moment, but no one more than a second off the back, so really, really good racing. I dare say Nat would have made that break before long. Of curb again. Strategy is going to come into play. As that pit stop window opens, we will just take a screenshot and see who's where.
Craig's fallen back a little bit from John and Andrew up front.
Yeah, that 1.6
Pit is
gap.
now open.
Oh, pit is now open. Matt times that perfectly. Alex Osborne duck into the inside as well.
Oh, that looked a bit fast through pit entry, so there might be a drive-through coming through, and the person behind Alex looks like he kind of, I don't think he put the speed limiter on because he accelerated again past the pit board.
So that could come into play as Matt rolls into his pit stop. We'll try and judge it, what work he's having done. Alex Osborne as well into the pits. So will that work out? Could they have stretched a gap so they weren't in traffic? As we've got John Walker in as well, the first of the Silvers into the pits. Harrison Fulton coming in as well. These guys electing to stop early. Have they gone for a tyre change? Oh, John overshooting quite massively there. The game rolls him back, thinks about it, and then will lift the car up. Johnston away. Osborne away. So a little bit of a gain there from Matt. Gets away from Alex. Let's see. Yeah, stop and go 30. You called it absolutely right. Alex Osborne speeding in the pit lane.
Quite unfortunate. Looks like he just misjudged it or mispressed the button or something.
Absolutely. So
Very unfortunate. Josh Walker's out.
it's Tom Lyons there. Yeah, John Walker out as well. Goes green on your leaderboard. So Johnston able to break away from Alex Osborne to stop go 30. He's going to ruin Alex's race. Might even put him down in with some of the novices. Or the AMs, if you will, sorry. Meanwhile, back down the front, Ryan's got that nice bit of breathing room as they head on to another lap. Andrew's going to try and eke this one out as long as he can. Currently 4.8 seconds back. John then sat with him as well. There's seconds to be found, those 4 seconds. All you got to do is get your pit stop wrong and you will lose that time. These pit stops do become critical. Matt Johnson in, away and out ahead of Alex Osborne with a bit more breathing room. 4.8, you know, they came in only a couple of seconds apart, if that.
The pit stop is absolutely crucial in this race. One mistake and that could be a podium or not.
Oh.
As Joe contact.
Oh, big contact. The two of them taking each other out. I don't know where that started. Let's just do a 30 seconds. So Joe's got ahead of Nat. I've cut that off a bit soon because we won't see where they come back on. I do apologise. So Nat had a run along the back straight. Oh, they kept it really tight on the way in. Joe getting the car ahead initially. Nat making use of that off track. He's only just on the green bit. Joe tried to hold him off track and Nat tried to force his way back on. They both cut across. So where have they ended up? A drive-through for Joe. That's given Joe a drive-through.
He must have been really on the leaning on those track limits. Got a lot of warnings earlier on in the race. But
absolutely. So Osborne is
real
taking
shame.
stop and go 30. Joe now with that drive-through to do. The guys stayed ahead of Ash Copeland in the background, but Ash must fancy his chances now. Joe a little robust in not letting Nat back on, but again it's one for the stewards. We won't get too involved. Let's see who elects to pit on this lap. Yeah, Joe and Nat dive to the inside. Ash carries on, so it's now Ash's time with some clean air to try and make a break down the front. Tom Lyons also in the pit from 19th.
Alex as well in the pits. Same with
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah.
as well.
Stephen Pole in as well. Okay.
Oh, Stephen, very conservative on pit entry.
They'll be in the chat knowing that some of the others have had penalties coming through.
Definitely.
So is Challoner. Challoner is out behind Sam Waldridge, having completed his drive-through. Sam Waldridge currently showing 10th, so he will be 9th. So Joe will be running around in what I predict is 10th, but still having to do his mandatory stop. Because some of the other drivers have stopped, so Joe is currently 8th. Josh Copeland still going around, has not pitted as yet. Some of these gaps really opening up. Joe pushing on. You see the car squirming on the exit of the corner. Some of the cars ahead not quite lapping on the same pace as Joe, so be keen to either dispatch them or make that dive for the pits as soon as he can. It'll also be a case of do they decide to fix those cars or not. Nat Shirley, the lead driver who has pitted. I'm not sure how well versed Ryan will be in his pit stops. Does he elect to do it this lap? He's coming up on some traffic.
No.
Not on this lap, no. So Ryan continues. He's hoping that Harrison Fulton ahead, who has pitted, will get out of the way in plenty of time. But his last name is Fulton, so if Craig's anything to go by, we don't know. We've then got Andrew and John continuing round as well. So they're looking for a later stop in the window, making use of their current pace, burn through as much fuel as they can.
Ashley is pitted as well, trying to get that undercut on a few of the front runners guys.
Yeah, he's got that 18-second deficit currently. Jamie's in the chat. Hey guys, just me that can't hear anything. I hope we've got audio.
We've got audio.
Hi Jamie, I hate you. Hope you're well this evening. So,
Oh.
what's that? You said oh.
No, the chat.
I think they're just not funny.
No.
And if they really can't hear anything, we haven't offended them. So Andrew currently 5 seconds off the back of Ryan. How is Ryan getting on, getting past Harrison? Ryan currently 0.7 off his delta, but you'd expect that as the best of the life has gone out of the tyres. Harrison should be getting the blue flags by now, I would have thought. Not particularly getting out of the way. Closing in on the back of him there, the pace difference. Harrison, yeah, the long way round leaves the inside for Ryan. Doesn't squeeze him and files in behind. Again, not to the pits, so he's leaving it. Another 2-minute lap time will be on the cards. So the time will be down to 4 minutes. How is Wellborn getting on? Still got some pressure from John in the background. As we get Dave Rose pitting now from 14th. Matt Johnston jumps ahead of Nat Shirley. Stop and go 30 for Dave Rose, so he's been speeding in the pit lane too. Craig in as well. Let's see where Craig files back out. So you'd expect Craig to be a good distance ahead of Johnston, but we shall see how that pans out.
He's got some pit lane problems. He's having to reverse and go back in, and it's not doing the stop. So big problems for Craig in the pits.
That could be his fight for the top positions out. However, Matt is having to defend from Nat already.
Nat really putting the pressure on.
And this is an outlap. Sorry, the last one was an outlap for Nat. So this has been Nat's first full speed attack. We also saw that contact with Challoner early on, so that will have delayed their attempts as well. So Craig is green but still only making his way out the pits now, so that's going to drop him down. Where is he? There he is, only just now, so he's down behind Matt and Nat. These two battling away. I know, look at Challoner. Challoner's got past Copeland just now, but now he's got 11 seconds to go chasing after McGee. Oh, was that nearly in the back for Nat? He just clipped the back of Matt as far as I'm aware. Another wiggle for Matt. They're coming down this back straight. I think we need a helicopter. Sweeping the edge of the marbles. They head back out mid-track. We saw Nat making use of the runoff area. Here he goes again and keeps it in the white lines this time. Not able to attack. Where is Craig? Craig is 5 seconds off the back of Ashley, so this field really starting to split up. Wellborn and John Clements to the pits, so they've pit together. Joe now 10 seconds to McGee. Josh will try and go with him. Hopefully not fight him too hard. See the Porsche lunge forward in the braking zone. Much higher speed carried through there. Matt not quite feeling the need to defend. It's a middle of the road on turn-in. Nat way more tidy, so these two need to stop squabbling. They need that overlap on the front runners. Matt parks on the apex. You've got to feel that it's not going to help their attack. The guys further up. Andrew and John. John down before Andrew. Is it a jump in the pits? Andrew. Oh, they're probably as close as they came in, so both of them comparable pit stops. There's Dave Rose serving his stop and go 30, so that's horrendous for him. Where is Matt Johnston? Only just rounded the final turn, so the two down the front. Yeah, that really didn't work for Craig. He's dropped a huge amount. Wellborn and Clements already off through Maggots and Beckett's. Johnston not quite. There he is now at turn 1. So Sam Aldridge still in the pits. It's all about now where Ryan feeds out, the last driver not to stop once Sam ticks over. Nat all over the back of Matt trying to find another way round, but that would have been a very long way round. That's compromised Nat through there, giving Matty J a good run onto the back straight. So Craig, that front, the loser through the pits. Has to be said, he's now got a 5-second gap to close in on Ash and then try and make his way forward to catch these guys, although he was just in the background of that shot as he headed into the Vale chicane. So it's Ryan Ware to the pits now. Ryan Ware, Ryan in the pits. What do we think? Where is Andrew? Andrew just onto the Wellington straight. So unless Ryan's had any issues getting it stopped on his marks, you should see him come back out comfortably ahead. Wait for the P sign to drop away, I believe. Will it go? Yeah, it goes green, so that's the stop completed. He will now be rolling. How far down the pits was he? No, he had a nice late box. So he knocks off that pit lane limiter. Gets the power down, the car bumps on the edge of the grass. And as Wellborn heads through. Down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Ryan is still in sight. Andrew should hopefully have the tyres up to temperature by now. They'll look to be closing in. Let's just catch them down across the line and see where they're sitting, although that was a slight bump there for Andrew, and John's got a good run. As the pit window closes, Ryan really did leave that to the last available lap. The gap now 4.7. I know when we looked earlier before the pit stops, it was not on my chart, that's perfect, but these two,
The pit window is closing now.
there goes the pit window, these two maintaining their battles. Anything we need to be looking at, Kyle?
I think this is the closest fight, but Stephen Pole 0.2 behind Mr. Sam. Looks like Sam is going to come under some pressure down the back straight. Or I can't remember what straight this is called, but into
Hanger.
Hanger. That's the one. Looks like he's not going to come under pressure through Vale. Sam's also gaining on his time whilst Stevens.
Oh no! Stephen and the sausage. So it is a thing to burp. Oh, Sam very, I'm not sure, headed towards the pit lane. Oh,
Warming his tyres, maybe?
not really sure that's necessary with 36
No.
minutes left, but Stephen unsettling the car again. He's really pushing. That may have burped the tyres. The pressures might not be where he needs them to be. So Stephen really pushing to try and get back on contention with Sam and bring him under pressure and try and have a fight with him. 4 PM in game time. The track temperature dropping as we go. Nat Shirley now attacking Matt Johnston. Let's go and have a look. There he is. That's brought Ash Copeland into contention. Camera set 2 is going to be needed. If I can get it to work. There it is. Yeah, that wider camera angle just showing you what's going on. That allows John Clements. Oh no, that's another car ahead. Sorry.
That Porsche looks awesome in the through Magus and Beckers. Looks like it's really settled compared to that Mercedes. It's just that Mercedes has got the legs down the straights.
I think you can safely say Matt covered the inside there.
Yeah.
But look, this will let Craig get back in contention. Craig could come from 7th to potentially take 4th if these guys are squabbling too hard. You know he's got the pace.
Matt really being the cork in the bottle as well, really holding up these two Porsches.
Oh, he's down the inside. Wow, closer than an F1 car through there. You saw Schumacher having to back out. Well, I don't think Ash was going to back out of that one.
Well, these three have been in the wars all race long. Not afraid of making a little bit of contact here and there. Matt's trying to break the slipstream down the back straight and coming into the penultimate corner.
Yeah,
Not braking early.
Yeah, not quite in contention to have an attack at the moment.
No.
Now with a mirror full of Porsche, but he'll keep his cool. We've seen Nat do really well in previous series and in this series, so he certainly knows how to race.
Definitely. The pace of the top three have also increased quite a lot. Ryan looks like he's going to improve his best lap. He still holds the fastest lap, but Andrew and John both pushing really hard to try and close that gap at the front.
Especially in the toe, it looks like this Porsche has got the legs on the Mercedes, so it'll all bunch up again, and the second Nat tries to attack, Ash Copeland will be in there. There you go, Matt feels the need to defend. hangs it on the apex, and over rotation slightly in the Porsche. Where's Craig? Craig's not far behind. Ash with that narrow line again, closes back up. Back markers may come into play.
Definitely.
Dave Rose just ahead, so a seasoned racer with us, he will know exactly what he needs to do and try not to influence the race at all. Good line there from Ash, looks like he can close up a little, maybe a little unsettled actually, that initial turn in, just catching him out on the exit. Oh, heavy weave in from Matt. He's been at the Fernando Alonso book of defending. Ash slightly crossed up behind, the over rotation, the pendulum in the back of the Porsche, the weight thrown from one side to the other. Continue on, like you say, the gaps at the front. John's not quite got the pressure on Andrew. Drive through for Alex Osborne in his Porsche. He's been off track again. So his day goes from bad to worse, having had the previous stop go 30. It's going to drop him right down into the AMS. Touch of the grass there for Matt. So is Nat close enough to attack? You see the Camaro in the background as we head down the hangar straight. Nat moving to a mid-line, ready to defend. Nat faster on exit, but potentially nowhere to go. Vale chicane. Matt covers the inside. You've seen this before. Ashwood will try and line it up. He'll hold the tighter line. There he is. Quite close enough this time. Matt almost being pushed round to the international start line, or whatever you want to call it. The start line that we're not using, to the outside of Matt. Matt covers the inside. So we'll give him a good run. Can he get the car switched back to the right-hand side? He can. Ash with a huge chunk of curb, but he keeps his car to the left. Now, switchback versus switchback. Too much of a switchback. Ash touching the curb in the background. Almost lifting an inside wheel as they head onto the Wellington Straight. There we go.
Who's got the leg?
Yeah, who's towing who, Carl?
Well, Matt's trying to break the slipstream, and whilst Nat's pulling Ash along, but this is all letting Craggle close up.
Wrong Craig.
Craig to close up on the back of them. But no, Craig's really on the back of them now. It's one mistake and potentially 3 positions.
Craig was 2 seconds faster, or 1.5 seconds faster on that last lap alone.
Really finding some pace in that Camaro.
Matt's hoping for some more battles behind him, because Nat is really free to attack at the moment. Alex Osborne also needs to take that drive through pretty quick, otherwise he'll get disqualified. Do let us know if you're joining us in the chat to watch this race. Let us know who you want us to have a look at, if you want any onboard cameras at all. I've got Sam Waldridge right on the back of Ross Parker, but I feel like there's a battle heating up here. Ash,
He's already got the move done.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just got a better exit coming out of turn 1 and managed to get it just before going into Magnets and Beckett's.
So Osborne to the pits for that drive through. Good to see that getting served and no one getting disqualified. We don't want that.
Rose has also got a drive through further behind as well, so Rose not having the greatest of races.
Oh, the door open. Ash invites Craig in for dinner. Craig takes him up on that opportunity. And he's going to be on one, he's going to want to get to these two. Matt to the inside, not able to break the toe this time. It's a full-on defence. The guys both move out to the outside. It's going to be the long way around for Nat. He had to counter steer slightly. Craig's now in contention. He's got a wide run in. Ash looking to get down the inside of Craig. So as one tries to make a move, the other tries to counter. They file out the corner as they went in, but Matt able to move away slightly. Craig may have to defend from Ash into this turn. Ash tucks behind. Does he put his nose to the inside? No, it's Craig with the early turn in. He should get a good amount of curb. There he is. Ash got to be careful on his track limits. 26 minutes left. They're well over halfway now, but it's still easy enough to get a penalty. Craig slightly unsettled. Still manages to get the car settled for the left-hander though. Nat with a bit more of an unorthodox line. Craig a little too far back to do anything on this time of asking.
The line really worked for Nat. I don't know, it didn't look particularly fast, but he's really gained on Matt there.
As they file through Stowe. A little understeer mid-corner maybe for Nat, working those tyres, but he has the pace right here, right now, so he'll do everything he can to get past Matt. An hour and 5 minutes in. Sorry, go on, Carl.
Craig really looking strong in the last few stages of the race. He's not the fastest, but he's been one of the most consistent, bar that pit stop mistake. He's really been faultless all race.
He's definitely got the pace to go after him. Nat's improving. That was Ash, wasn't it?
Ash
to the
down
inside.
the inside, all over the curb, but hitting that sausage curb really ruined that chance. Allowed Craig to just sort of command that space as Ash on the grass and
over-rotated the car. Craig takes a sigh of relief and he now goes after the cars ahead.
that's definitely what Craig wanted, not what Ash wanted. I think that's the opposite of what Ash wanted there.
Now watch the feet of the driver. They're representative of the pedal inputs that the driver's actually making, so he squeezes the throttle. 100% throttle as we head on to the start and finish straight. Another lap is done. I believe that'll be 29 laps completed. Push it down with the left, yet heavy input and then fades off the brake, brings the accelerator back in, squeezes the throttle out over the exit curve.
Really strong on the steering input as well.
That's it. Good big chunks of steering input for the rather large Camaro. Patient on the throttle, unwinds the steering, brings it in. Best of runs onto the back straight, but that toe will keep him in contention. What can Ash do ahead to attack Matt? Badger Boy on the move, says Sparky. Sam Aldridge now up past Ross Parker, and like you say, 6 seconds off the back of Josh Copeland, so third in class at the moment. Craig lunges forwards onto the Porsche, more confident on the brakes. The nose in for the right-hander, they just spread out slightly as they bring in the pace. It's a very close Porsche, so Nat able to attack Matt. Matt has to defend with the right-hander, a flash of the lights. Nat really getting frustrated now. Tucks it in. Where's he going to go? He's going to go into the back of Matt. Just looks like he had to back out of that. Couldn't get on the throttle, but Craig with a run. So it's going to be wide in. He's going to try and go the long way around the nose of the Camaro ahead, but the way the track opens up, the Porsche able to stay ahead from a long way back over the inside. So a slight sniff of an inside line, and Craig launched the car down the inside over the curves. Let's go back. Yeah, it was a from a fair way back, but Craig then able to drive off after Matt. Craig keen to make progress, so hopefully not too much damage for Nat, hopefully not too much damage for Craig. One for the stewards to review afterwards, but it gives Matt some more breathing room. He's just able to keep his cool. and hold on to that 4th place on track. Let's just see if Nat comes under pressure from Ash, who arguably now has a more together car.
Nat's just got a drive through for track limits.
And he's
like,
sent it across the... What's he doing? Has he had enough?
What is he doing?
So just as that... Oh look, he's got loads of understeers. You see that the car just fading. That's where it's giving him the drive through. That was when the drive-through appeared. He did well not to take anyone out. Maybe he thought about it. I wouldn't like to pin that on him. So he's then got back on it. Has continued round, so I'm not sure what quite happened there for Nat, but the drive-through coming in nonetheless.
Right, now putting Matt under pressure.
Yeah, sorry. There we are, so there's Ryan, Andrew a little further back. John can still see him, but not the battles that we've had. Not the battles that we are seeing just here. So, Craig managing to dispatch Nat. You just see in the background filing down. Matt not defending that early. 20 minutes left on the timer, so they're a long way into this race. Hour and 10 is done. 20 minutes to go will feel like a walk in the park in comparison, but the drivers will be getting warm and frustrated at others' pace. Nat peels into the pits in the background, you see it on the map. So that lap for the drivers you're watching now, yeah, 2:12.9 for Johnston, 2:12.4 for Craig. So he's definitely got the pace advantage. He's just going to have to find somewhere to use it. Maggots and Beckett's not the place. A little wiggle for the Camaro, but he's kept it under control. Matt fighting a little understeer in that car, both with comparable amounts of curb. To the back straight we go. Nat Shirley ticking off that drive through. It is a championship. There's a long way to go. Races of varying lengths. What do we think, Kyle? Is he going to be able to do it in the next 20 minutes?
Oh, I don't know. That Matt has been really strong at defending his position all race. So I think unless Craig gets a mighty run down one of the straights, I think it'll be very tough for him to get past, or a mistake from Matt. I think Matt's learnt a little bit not to be bullied off the track as he learnt earlier on in the race.
Yeah, Matt does rather well in the Wednesday series where it is a little more elbows out, but that has been applied to this race for some people. Craig trying to get a switchback, trying to get on the power early, but that narrow line working for Matt. Good traction in the AMG.
Yeah, Craig also went a bit wide on exit as well, so he had to come off the gas a little bit and stop going all the way over to the grass.
Yeah, he can struggle to get the nose in for Matt. He's having to go in fairly slow, but it's that narrow line. The rear end traction is working for him, so it's the understeer on the way in that he's fighting, meaning he has a fighting chance as he heads onto the straight. Good run this time from Craig. Can you do anything? It's a very fast turn one. Craig having to back out earlier with that overspeed. Matt arguably more settled. They'll try not run out too wide. None of them want cut tracks. That's put Nat down to 10th. He's got to dispatch two of the silver cars to even get back in the fight for the pros. It's a long old race. You have to have that consistency. Matt just hitting his points and getting the drive out the turn. Don't forget, on out-and-out pace in the qualifying, Matt could only do enough for 7th. He's now fighting to hold on for 4th, so we've seen Matt's racecraft time and time again. Here we go through Stowe. That's brought Ash Copeland back into contention, and that's going to turn Craig's attention from attack to defence again. Ash waiting it out last time, paying dividends, getting ahead of Nat.
Ash goes down the
Yeah,
inside.
Ash down the inside again. You've seen him do that a couple of times. Runs Craig out. Craig will have to be careful on the track limits. Oh, that's from a long way back for Craig. The Porsche just turning in, quite enough space, and that's left a huge gap. So not enough defence from Ash, you'd argue, but Craig now delayed in his fight to get past Matt. Matt's got 15 or 16 minutes left. Let's just see if that 30 seconds will come back far enough. Let's go. Craig and on board. Yeah, Craig's got a slight, just the slightest of overspeed, didn't have the overlap. He's tried to turn in but understeered, so not quite making the apex, and Ash has turned in. Not quite good enough pace. Craig doing the right thing and waiting, but the second rotation for Ash. Yeah, Craig's dropped back by 6 seconds, and Ash in his recovery by 9 seconds. Although Matty J, here he is hesitant on the throttle. They heard him trying not to get a penalty. There he is. Matt taking his time. We'll see what it is through the next split. You can hear him really hesitant on the throttle, Kyle. I think he's really struggling.
That Mercedes doesn't look particularly comfortable. Well, I don't think he's been particularly comfortable all race. He's just been right place, right time all race. So I think, considering he's not really had the pace to be where he is, he's just really played the race right and got the positions where he needed to, and he's defended really, really well.
Drive through for Stephen Poll. So we saw Stephen getting stuck in earlier on. Currently 5th in class. That's going to drop him right down, potentially behind Harrison. I think that'll be somewhere between Harrison Fulton and Ash Wootton.
Just looking further back as well. Fight for silver. Whilst we were keeping an eye on the Craig, Ash and that fight, Sam was like pulling a second on the guys in front, but I think he's unfortunately had to drop back. It looks like his tyre wear's really starting to kick in.
So down through Brooklands, Matt goes across that inside curb. Let's just see what the split is on Craig for the next one. I think Craig's actually dropped back towards Ash. They head down across the line. Matt with a huge chunk of that inside curve. So Matt's still 31 seconds off the leaders because of these fights from Craig. Craig closing in slightly. Ash falling back slightly, so 5 seconds back to Craig and then 4 to Ash. Joe Challoner's going to be hoping that something else kicks off because he's only 4 seconds off the back of Ash. Down the front, Ryan, where once he dispatched Andrew, just had that pace advantage, so doing really well. Through comes Andrew, comparable last lap time, 0.01 apart. Then got John, not quite on the pace of the front runners, dropping back almost a second on that last one, but done really well to fight through earlier on. As we said, Matty J 32 seconds back, but having the fight of his life. We've then got Craig, who's had a couple of bits of contact. We saw him jumping up the sausage curb and then down the inside of Ash, but they're both incidents for the stewards to deal with. As commentators, we stay impartial. Ash Copeland in the background, really getting involved in that Porsche. Right place, right time at some points. Sometimes just tripping up with the others. As we said, Joe Challoner wanting to get back involved in the Alpine. Some side damage on that as well. The Nat Shirley incident earlier on as Nat tried to come back on the circuit after running wide. The first few Silvers leading the way from Dave Rose, who's a lap down. But Alex McGee leading the way in the Ginetta from his Ginetta colleague of Josh. Still with 11 minutes to go, that 2-second gap could quite easily change, especially with back markers in the mix. Nat Shirley, we've seen him with his drive-through, we've seen him with a bit of damage, but fighting on currently at the back of the pros, but in 10th position overall. Sam Baldridge currently along for the ride, 3rd place in the Silvers, getting a tow round from that, some good lines to follow, staying within that 2-second barrier. 1.2 through the last sector, some back markers ahead, it's going to be in the mix. There's Ross Barker, he's got his eyes on Sam ahead, but not sure if he can make that 4-second deficit up. The last time of asking, they were matching lap times. Again, Ross in those earlier scraps door to door with Stephen, still to serve his drive through. You'd imagine he's going to do that sooner rather than later. He's mid on exit and he dives to the right hand side. So Stephen hoping to not drop too far back from 13th. John Walker in the green McLaren, number 13, not quite working for him. He'll jump up into 13th, so that's a double 13 for John, but he's got Chris Monroe lurking just behind him, matching his lap times in the NASCAR-inspired livery, the matte black Camaro. Harrison currently struggling on his Delta. He's 1.4 down on this time of asking, and he's got the leader not too far behind him. The bruised and battered Mercedes heads around the final turn. Ashburton in the Mars car, the Mars Racing livery. Fair gap back to Harrison, 25 seconds just disappeared out your screen. He's also got a fair gap back, so Ash in a little bit of no man's land. Tom Lyons in his rather pink Ginetta. Off the back there, we've lost Alex Osborne, but we've still got Dave Rose and Mark Samuel. But again, quite separate on the track of 3-second gap, so some of the guys. Josh Copeland now, 2nd place in the Silvers. Kyle, he's got a drive through, that's going to drop him right down.
Absolutely. Don't know where that's going to drop him back down to, but it's a real shame. Again, track limits being a huge factor in this race. I've seen a lot of drivers getting drive-throughs, and Silverstone isn't a small pit lane either, so it's really going to drop you down this late in the race. So
he's not doing it on this time of asking. He wants to get the back marker of Dave Rose out the way. He wants to cling on to Alex McGee. Do that drive through later on. That potentially, it's going to be after Ross Parker. It'll be knocking on the door of John Walker.
yeah.
Chris Monroe closing in on the back of John. John a little down on his Delta, so can Chris close in? He was 0.9 through the last sector. Across the line, it's still 0.9, but not as much as it was before. It's 36 laps done for these guys. That will be tiring, and as we said earlier, in this heat, will be a real test for the real world conditions. The car bobbing away as they head onto the back straight. Mark Samuel the background just holding on. Fair play to him. He didn't start the race on the lead lap, but has kept fighting away. 7 minutes left, Carl. What do we reckon? Anyone else for track limits? It's a shame we can't see who's where. John throws it up. Let's go and see that again. John throws the McLaren over the curb. He's not afraid of any tyre burping.
No.
Chucking it about 7 minutes left. That's what, 3 more laps. They continue to fight on. Let's see how Josh is getting on. Josh closing right up on the back of Dave Rose. Dave should probably be getting blue flags about now, but he's been able to stick to the back of McGee. Actually, Dave's going forward, so Josh will be wanting him to get out of the way so he can attack Alex. Two Janetta drivers leading the silver. Josh with that drive through to do. He'll be gutted. He'll be fuming. He'll be needing that to get that done rather soon. The blue flag waves. You see it off to the side. Fear he might be screaming at Dave in the chat by now. Looks like Dave's about to attack Alex, so yeah, Alex choosing to defend from the back marker, but that's allowing. I'm not sure where I stand on that. There's blue flag, so Josh has to get through, but Dave is fighting with Alex. So, oh, Dave goes deep. That's going to hold up Josh. Josh will get that switch back. Get the nose down the inside, but was unsettled, so actually now Dave's error is holding up Josh.
He really needs to get out of the way. I mean, I know Josh has got a drive through, but that car shouldn't really be fighting unless he's trying to unlap himself.
But he was from Alex, but unfortunately making that error meant that he wasn't quite on pace. I believe this is Josh's last opportunity to take it before penalty, but I may be wrong.
I think he's got one more lap, but I think I'd rather, if I was him, I think I'd rather take it now, just so I'm not being held up by David in front. And he does.
So into the pits for Josh. So where does that feed him back out? You see the cars storming past. Back on the circuit, that's Nat Shirley through. Expect Ross to come through. It was John that was the question mark, but I believe John is too far back, so that should feed Josh back out. Comes through. Where is John? John onto the pit straight, so if John can keep the pace and keep Chris Monroe at bay. Yeah, Josh out of the pit lane now, back onto the circuit. John just heading through the first turn, so as we expected, he files out behind Ross. Unfortunate for Josh, he's had a really good race, was fighting for that class podium. Where do you want to watch for a minute? I need to disappear.
Go for, I don't know. Go Craig.
There is Craig, currently 3 seconds off the back of Matt. Let's see how he gets on.
It's like he's holding his pace where he is. Don't think he's gained a second or half a second on John. Oh, sorry, Matt in that last lap. He closed that gap in the last 2 laps, but I don't think so. I think the gap's a little too big. However, in the background, I think Ashley's closing in on the back of Craig as well. Not particularly quickly, but if Craig makes a mistake, then Ashley's going to be on the back of Craig quite quickly. We'll see how it goes. Coming down to the, I think there's going to be 2 laps left in this race. Ryan really commanding this race. As soon as he got past Andrew, he just took control of the race and just got into a world of his own. But Andrew, since making that pit stop, has just been not catching but matching Ryan in front.
So he is closing in on that.
He is. Half a second, last lap.
Yeah, Matt's time's not quite comparable to the cars ahead or immediately behind. Ash Copeland actually a 12.3, Craig a 12.4, Matt a 12.9. Yeah, absolutely storming. Looks like we'll get one more lap.
One more lap. Yeah, Ryan's just about to come over the start-finish line, or coming through the final corner to start the last lap for this race.
So it will be a 40-lap race. That's a fair amount of time.
Leaders on final lap now.
You heard it there. The leader through to start. Well, 41 laps, sorry, will be completed. So they're on lap 41 now. Josh Copeland come back out. Yeah, he's comfortable ahead of John. 6 seconds ahead. 11 behind Ross Parker, so that he'll be frustrated, but he'll still get 4th in class, holding on ahead of John Walker. We just need some battles to close in. It'll be quite a quiet end if it carries on this way, but Matt, 1.2 off on his delta. He is struggling now. We've got a yellow flag just behind. Sure who that was.
Can't see anything on my end.
No, as it was there, it was gone. Right. AJ trying to keep ahead as the clock ticks down with 5 seconds left. Shirley on the back of McGee now. 1 lap. Can he make the difference? What was the difference? Last lap, 0.4 faster than McGee, and he's 1.3 behind, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time round. So with Andrew taking 2nd place so far, he had pole position.
Ryan's just coming onto the back straight, coming up to the penultimate corner now.
There is a flash of the lights, but there's no one there, so a celebration to 2 corners early. And that Aston Martin, faultless all race, managing to get past Andrew fairly early on. There he does, out of the final turn. Not had much coverage, but a fantastic race for Ryan, showing the pace in qualifying with 2nd place, towing Andrew round.
Leader has finished the race.
A wiggle across the line. Andrew not too far back, another flash of the lights, only 4 seconds away, which over an hour and a half is fantastic. We saw John coming on strong and certainly finished strong. He'd be lucky not to get a cut track actually, finishing off the circuit for 3rd place, but well done to your top 3. Matt appears to be holding on. We've had Harrison filter through for 16th. Matt heads down through the left-hander, struggling in the later stages with the tyres. Not quite where he needed them to be, but they were still on all 4 corners. So Matt holds on after some earlier onslaught, a slide out the final turn. And down across the line, 4th place, just holds on ahead of Craig, guiding the rather large Camaro round Ash. Definitely well deserved of his 6th place, holds on. The car covered in dirt, you see there. As Tom Lyons moves aside to let Joe come through and take the flag for what I believe was 7th. We've had one of the cars leave already. McGee across the line. Shirley really, really close. I think they were, yeah, almost pushed him across the line. Shirley not quite able to get past. Then you had Sam Waldridge. Ross Parker across the line for 10th, so 3rd in his class. Well, that'll be 11th, but 3rd in his class. Copeland across the line after that unfortunate drive-through. Pink, Janetta Demolition Derbies. John in the number 13 car. Monroe not able to quite get to John. And then Stephen Pole will be the last car to watch across the line. Well, there we go, Carl. Some fantastic racing. A long 90 minutes, but that first half really, really close battles throughout. It was the pit stops that really mixed it up, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely a very change of strategy.
Green light,
Different
green light.
strategies
Go,
all
go,
the
go.
way across the grid. Some people think everybody took tyres, but I think a lot of mistakes in the pits really pushed everybody, or sort of grew a gap to the whole field. So everyone was sort of going on their own, but still some good racing towards the end of that race.
Absolutely. Well, we may be back with a stream on Wednesday as the Janetta series continues. I know Andrew's been having some issues with his internet and dropouts, so if there's a stream, join us for that. If not, join us again next week. We'll bring you around 4. We'll continue on with these. Thanks again for joining me on the stream, Kyle. We're getting there. I know I ramble on in some parts, but definitely highlighting some battles I need to get to and bring in another element to the commentary. Right then. Yeah, don't think there's much more to be said than that. If you've made it this far through watching the stream live, thank you very much for joining us. If you've watched it back and not skipped anything, you're mad. But thank you for watching it back. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Helps us jump to the top of people's suggested and bring more viewers in. And more viewers ultimately means more people racing good, strong grids on the Sunday series. Hope you've had a good weekend. Join us next week. Thank you very much.
Cheers, bye.